You know, this Cori-Steel Cutter card might be kind of broken. Hello and welcome back, and this is my first video since the bannings went live, and Tomb and Nadu are officially out of the format, and my prediction is that we're going to see Cori-Steel Cutters rise to the top of the meta alongside Mystic Forge, specifically Izzet Cutter, but let's be honest, that's meta, you all know it, it's boring. Let's play some Gruul Cutter instead. So we are playing green instead of blue. And if we're being completely honest, this deck is basically infect without infect. So the logic behind this deck is you are playing Cori-Steel Cutter and a bunch of aggressive, cheap creatures with prowess or pseudo prowess. Be able to just beat your opponent down as quickly as possible. You've got Monastery Mentor with actual prowess. You've got Slick Shot Show Off with basically prowess on steroids. And then the monks from Cori-Steel Cutter also have prowess as well. So we're looking to take advantage of these cheap, aggressive creatures that grow when you cast other cheap, aggressive spells, such as Mutagenic Growth for pump, Scale Up for pump, Lava Dart, and Lightning Bolt for some range and some damage. And basically just trying to kill your opponent as quickly as possible with these cheap, aggressive creatures. In the theme of playing as many cheap, non creature spells as possible to pump our creatures, and also to churn through our deck to be able to make sure that we keep having a critical mass of spells to be able to trigger prowess and trigger Cori-Steel Cutter, we have a full 8 0-mana baubles, and we have a new card in the form of Firebrained Scheme. I don't know what the actual paper name of this card is. It's from the Spider-Man set, but they are different cards online. But basically what this is it can let you pick one of the two top cards of your library and play it until the end of the next turn to keep the cards flowing, or it can give +1/+0 to up to 2 target creatures and act as a pump spell. So we are basically just trying to get a cheap threat down quickly, pump it as much as possible with our spells and prowess, and just kill our opponent in 1 or 2 shots as quickly as we possibly can. Being as this is a hyper aggro deck, it is very low on land count to maximize our number of spells and threats. Only 13 real lands. All of them are red based because our deck is essentially mono red for the most part, but we do have some green in there to be able to cast Berserk and scale up. And then we have 4 land grants in our mana base as well, as a way to make sure that we can find lands and as a way to be able to trigger all of our prowess and Cori-Steel Cutters for free. So we're just going to try to kill our opponent as quickly as possible, see if we can 20 them with one creature with all of our pump spells and prowess triggers, and just get these games over as quickly as possible. In the sideboard, we have a Legolas's Quick Reflexes because, like an Infect deck, we don't really have that many threats, so we need to be able to protect them against removal-based decks. Full playset of Fairy Macabres to be able to deal with graveyard decks. Pyroblast to get through blue decks, to get through their counter spells, kill a Murktide Regent, something like that. Abrade and Meltdowns to be able to take care of artifacts that are a problem on the battlefield, like Trinispheres or Chalice of the Void. And Abrade's a little extra creature removal if we need it to get rid of a blocker. And then Price of Progress to punish the greedy decks, such as the Cloud Post decks that are running around, the Mystic Forge decks running around, and also the occasional lands player or possibly the Lone Pox players that are running around as well, to give us a little bit of finishing power and to be able to punish those greedy mana bases. So let's see if we can make Cori-Steel Cutter work with green. We've already done it with black and it went surprisingly well, and we already know blue is proven. So as we're working through the various colors you compare it with, let's see if green can do the same and have a cohesive, strong, and fast deck that can compete in the new Legacy meta. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy the content. If you do, please do me a favor, drop a like and a comment below and a sub to the channel if you haven't, to know when my videos are going live and to be able to support the channel. That all said, take this through league. See you all in the wrap up. All right, let's see if we can one-shot our opponent today. Won the die roll. So this is interesting. I don't like that it's a one-lander and that our threat is Cori-Steel Cutter and relying on land grant to reveal our information, but I think we're going to keep this. We're probably going to start off with just a Bloodstained Mire, and then we might play out one of these Mishra's Baubles, and then pull the Mishra's Bauble target our self trick to see if we want to fetch away what's on top, or if we want to keep it. We have multiple ways to find our second land is the important part. It's just going to be a matter of, does Cori-Steel Cutter get countered? Does it get discarded? What's going on? So it's a high risk hand, but we're going to give it a shot. In my testing for this deck, I have noticed it plays very similar to Infect, where you typically need to mulligan until you have a threat. That said, Cori-Steel Cutter is a threat. Opponent kept on 6. Okay. We will play Bloodstained Mire. We will play Mishra's Bauble. And we are just going to go ahead and do ourselves. Okay, we know we don't want that Berserk. And the question just becomes, is do we want to fetch a basic or do we want to fetch the Surveil land? I think we're going to go ahead and fetch the Surveil land with this trigger on the stack. We probably could have saved for doing this on our opponent's turn, but this does open us up to Wasteland, which is a little iffy. But we'll see what we can do here. Commercial District. We see another Bauble, which we'll throw in the graveyard, because we don't really want that right now. It's also getting us up to Delirium for Dragon Rage Channeler. Okay, a second land grant. At least we know that means that we can get 2 lands if we don't hit one. Scalding Tarn. So I'm expecting a lot of Izzet Cutter going forward. This is my first league post-banning. And Volcanic Island is kind of leading to thinking that at the moment. Into a Delver. Okay, so this is a Delver. Like I said, I'm expecting a lot of this style of deck going forward since the bannings. We hit another Cori-Steel Cutter. So, unfortunately, we have to land grant. The nice part is they try to counter this, we just have another one. And we will grab a Taiga, play the Taiga. I'm just debating if I want to hold on to this land grant or if I want to cast it now. Because, like, we could drop a Cori-Steel Cutter now. If it gets countered, we have another one. So I think I am going to offer the first one up here. They already know what our hand is, so they know there's another one. They might not even bother fighting over this one. Unfortunately, we can't get a creature off of this yet. And if they daze this, it puts them back a land. This has been sitting on the stack for quite a while, so this makes me think they have one counter, but not another one. So they're debating if it's worth countering this, hoping they find another one to deal with the other. Okay, we got a counter. Force Will pitching Brazen Borrower, so it acted as a Hymn to Turok. I'm actually pretty okay with that. I would love to just hit a land so that I can play the second Cori-Steel Cutter around a daze. Did not flip the Delver. Okay. Getting in with the Delver. No pre-combat land. We can take one. That's fine. Okay, there's a land. They've got 2 Volks, 3 cards in hand, playing a Ponder. I'd like to see a shuffle off of this. Like I said, I'd love to see a land here to be able to play this Cori-Steel Cutter around a daze. Did not shuffle, so I'm a little worried about that. Like I said, I would love to see a daze here, or a land. Okay, we did hit a land, so we can play that. This lets us play this around a daze. And then we are going to go ahead and play a Mishra's Bauble so that we get a dude. And get him for 2. And then they already got rid of a Brazen Borrower, so they're going to have a hard time dealing with a resolved Cori-Steel Cutter, I think. We're going to see if they reveal to this. They did not. So let's see what you're drawing. A Dragon Rage Channeler. Okay. Played a land. Getting in with the Delver. If they hold back... Okay, I was going to say, if they hold back with the Delver, that's awesome, but they're not. There's the Dragon Rage Channeler. 2 cards in hand. It's pretty safe to assume they don't have a counter here. We get to draw 2. Ooh, Slick Shot show off. And a Lightning Bolt. So I think we're just going to straight up cast the Slick Shot show off here. And then we don't need to cast this land grant yet. Okay, they are dazing. That's fine, because we can play Mutagenic Growth for free. Do they have another daze is the question. They binned a Scalding Tarn. Is your last card another daze? No. Okay. And we are going to go ahead and pump the Slick Shot show off. Get another dude. Incentivize them to block the Slick Shot show off now. I don't think we have quite enough damage here to be able to kill them, since they can just block this anyways. So we'll get in. Oh, right, they can't block the Slick Shot show off. Never mind. I forgot this doesn't have flying when it's a 1/1. Alright, so we've got 9 damage. Or the opponent just skips it up. I was about to try to do the math to see if we could kill him here, but we had 9, add in another 2, that's 11, 12, 13, 14. If we had cast the land grant first, we actually could have killed them there, but for some reason I thought this still had flying even when it was a 1/1, but didn't. But anyway, taking down game 1, I like that a lot. We are bringing in Pyroblasts. Legolas's quick reflexes seems pretty good here. There's something to be said about possibly bringing in a Braids, but I don't think we need to. In general, I've been trimming some of this super explosive shit down here just for consistency's sake. So with 5, I could trim all of this. Against larger creature decks, I've been trimming the Lava Darts, but we should be able to kill unflipped Delvers and Dragon Rage Channelers with them, so I kind of want to keep them in. I think we might just take out this pile right here. Just trim some of the most explosive stuff, but they could have blockers. I think we'll give this a shot first to be able to fight over their counter spells and their Murktide Regents, and then protect our creatures. If we go to a game 3, I might change. Being on the play, we definitely do want to be more explosive. So let's try this, and if we go to a game 3, we'll adjust accordingly. Alright, so this is similar to our last game, where we kept a Cori-Steel Cutter as our threat. And I like the fact that we have Lava Dart and Pyroblast, so I think we're going to go ahead and keep this again. We probably won't do a ton until turn 3, if we're being honest here, but Looted Delta from the opponent, cracks it. Into a Volcanic Island, into a Dragon Rage Channeler. We're probably just going to go ahead and Lava Dart that. Do they have a Bobble to go with it? Yes, they do have a Bobble. Okay. So there is a possibility that they can get Delirium turned on. Now there's not really. They kept whatever it was on top. So they need to crack this Bobble and Daze and surveil a different land type into the graveyard to be able to turn on Delirium. But the Daze is already going to save it anyway, so... Cracking the Bobble, targeting us. Alright, we hit a land grant. I don't super care about that. We're just going to go ahead and Lava Dart this before they get access to more cards. And they were F6'd, so... And they know about our land grant. I guess we'll see how they play. I still don't want to run this Cori-Steel Cutter into a Daze if I don't have to. So we're probably just going to play Bloodstained Mire with the plan on grabbing Commercial District and hold up Pyroblast. And opponent has a Delver. Well, we have multiple ways to answer that if we want to. And a Wasteland. Okay. I mean, that's mostly fine. We have a clean answer to Delver if we need to. We hit another Bloodstained Mire, so we'll just play Bloodstained Mire and pass. Alright, opponent's got a Brainstorm to guarantee the flip on the Delver. We could try to kill the Delver, or we could stop the Brainstorm, but I think we're just going to let it go. We want to get our mana under us to be able to play this Cori-Steel Cutter. And if we really have to, we can go grab our 2 basic mountains. Which we might actually go grab a basic mountain off of this first one. Alright, opponent finally resolves their Brainstorm. Let's see what they're flipping here. Did not flip off of it. Okay. Playing a Thundering Falls, so they could be trying to set up for a Murktide Regent. Bend an Island, okay. I don't think we need to crack for our fetch land yet. Or our surveil land yet. I don't want to set up to get another Wasteland on us, so we're just going to let this ride for right now. And we hit a Slick Shot Show Off. So we could just go grab our basics, plot Slick Shot Show Off. That actually might be our best bet here. And opponent appears to be F6'd based off of how this is going. Yeah, they're F6'd, so I think I'm actually going to take advantage of that and slam this Cori-Steel Cutter as such, so that we can get a creature on board and get going. Like, if they weren't F6, I would not have risked this. Like, if it was paper, I wouldn't have done any of this. But since they appear to be F6'd, we will see what they reveal off of the Delver, if they reveal anything at all. Still did not reveal off of the Delver, so we will see what they're drawing for turn. I think they're trying to rush to a Murktide Regent. Okay, that's a Dragon Rage Channeler. If they're just rushing to a Murktide Regent, then I think we're probably pretty safe. Alright, plays the Dragon Rage Channeler. And it does already have Delirium. Double Dragon Rage Channeler, okay. So we do have a lot of Lightning Bolts. And we can make a Slick Shot show off pretty big, but it's just going to die to these Dragon Rage Channelers. And another Pyroblast. Okay. So I think what we're going to do is go ahead and just kind of go crazy here. We have to show the land grant, though. We played a land. If we want another one, I think we just full push here. Fuck it. They are yet again F6. And yeah, we're just going to full push here. They can see our Pyroblast, see what's going on here. I think we're going to grab a commercial district now. I already played my land for turn, and we're just going to full press here. They can block the Slick Shot show off and kill it. They can kill 2 of these creatures, but 2 of them are going to get through, and we still have more recursive threats. We have an answer for the Delver of Secrets. This is a little risky, but I think it's worth it. Alright, gonna block a Monastery Swift Spear and a Monk. Okay. So they get to keep both of their creatures, which is fine. These have to crash in. They have a Daze. I don't really care about that. We still have a clean answer for the Insectile Aberration. They could also shrink their Dragon Rage Channelers by playing a Murktide Regent to be able to hold them back on defense if they have that. Like I said, I don't super care about this Daze other than it gives them selection with the Dragon Rage Channelers. Like, as long as they don't wasteland this Taiga, we can pay for a Daze and still cast 2 cards. A Lightning Bolt to kill one of these Dragon Rage Channelers would be nice as well. So then we know our Slick Shot show off could theoretically get through. They're getting into combat, so they're swinging for 6. We don't got to worry about the Dragon Rage Channelers on Oh, swinging in with everything. Okay. We take 9... Petty Theft targeting the... Why are they targeting the Monk token? Okay. That's interesting they're going after the token instead of the Cori-Steel Cutter. I guess, I mean, we can always just replay the Cori-Steel Cutter and Pyroblast. And then we get another Monk anyways. Kept whatever it was on top. We'll take a Schwack for 9 here. Can we do 11 is the question. I think, like, any spell can theoretically get us there. I mean, Monastery Swift Spear kind of does it, I think. And then we can cast this, destroy target permanent if it's blue, hit the Insectile Aberration, and we get some stuff here. Alright, so this is 5-7, and then this is another 4 damage. Even if it gets countered, I don't particularly care. I just need the trigger from it. We do not want to land right now. And then we can cast this. We can target a Dragon Rage Channeler, even though it's not going to do anything. It just gets our prowess triggers. And that should be Xaxes. Like, even if they counter this, unless they got some kind of 0 mana bounce or removal spell, this should be exactly 11. Alright, stat clears, go to combat, and attack with everything. This should be lethal. And we took down Izzet Delver, already on the board with Gruul Cutter. Let's go. Alright, won the die roll. Let's go. Yeah, we'll keep this. We need another land, and this Steel Cutter can kind of pop off. So, we're going to play our Taiga, play Monster, Swift Spear. Opponent is saying, hi, good luck, have fun. You as well, if you happen to see this. And then we will play a Mishra's Bauble, get our Prowess trigger. And then we are going to hold on to the second Bauble for if we hit a land to be able to play the Cori-Steel Cutter. And we are going to crack the Bauble in their upkeep, see what they're drawing, see what they got going on over there. Green Sun Zenith. Okay. So Nadu is gone, so this is probably something along the lines of Cradle Control or possibly like Bant Midrange. Okay, Once Upon a Time makes me think this is Cradle Control. Into a Verdant. Cracking the Verdant, so we shouldn't have to worry about counter magic from the opponent based off of what I'm seeing here. Into a Bayou. Ignoble Hierarch. Okay, so yeah, this is definitely some kind of Cradle Control adjacent something. Drew a Dragon Rage Channeler and another Bauble. So that's a little disappointing. So we could play Dragon Rage Channeler, play Bauble, or we could try to bolt the Ignoble Hierarch to keep them off of some amount of mana. They're not going to block with it anyway, so I think we are safe to grab, or to play the Bauble, and then we will get in with the Swift Spear. Yeah, they're not blocking. I think we're going to, it feels bad doing it now. We'll do it in their upkeep. Like, we probably should have bolted pre-combat, but we are going to bolt this in their upkeep instead. Could have gotten a little more damage in if we had done this on our turn, but... Alright, they draw. See if we can see anything else in their hand besides that Green Sun Zenith. They either have multiple Green Suns, or we saw the same one again. Noble Hierarch. Gaia's Cradle. Okay, so yeah, this is Cradle control. Into a Green Sun Zenith to go get a Dryad Arbor. We really, really want to land here. This Gaia's Cradle is going to be a problem. Another Dragon Rage Channeler. And another Dragon Rage Channeler. Okay. I'm very concerned. Okay, we want the Bloodstained Mire. I am very concerned about a natural order to just kill us here. Get in with the Swift Spear. Down to 13. Like, we could have a huge burst of mana to kill our opponent, but they're at the point now where they could natural order for an Atraxa, and we just do not have a realistic way to kill that. Windswept Teeth. Barrow Goyf. Okay. That is mildly concerning. It does shut down our ground attacks. Let's see what they got going on over there. They have an Endurance, and they can cast it. I think we're not winning this one, unfortunately. Because this Barrow Goyf is just going to gain them so much life. And the fact that they have Endurance also kind of screws us over here. I'm trying to think if we can get enough damage through here. Because we can Cori-Steel Cutter, then we can pump something with... I guess we'll see what happens. We'll give it a shot, but I don't think this is going to work. That Barrow Goyf kind of just hard shuts us down here. Play a Cori-Steel Cutter. See if we can get something into the graveyard. Another land that does not add a type to the graveyard for the Dragon Rage Channeler. And then we can Mutagenic Growth the Channeler. And if it grows enough, we can still safely swing in with it. Berserk is an instant. It does turn on the Channeler, so I think we are going... Or no, it doesn't. Oh, we already had a Lightning Bolt. Okay, yeah. We're not getting through this one. We just kind of stumbled a little too hard, which is fine. It happens. Against what our opponent's doing, I think we're bringing in the Price of Progresses and possibly the Legolas's Quick Reflexes. And then I think we are going to trim down a bit on some of our explosive-y stuff. Again, like, we're on the play, so I don't like take that out, but I think we need the protection and the reach to be able to finish them off and just trust on this. I would take the Lava Darts out, but they have a lot of mana dorks we want to be able to kill with them. So let's try this, and we will adjust if we go to game 3. Alright, let's not stumble this time. Okay, we've got Dragon Rage Channeler, Slick Shot Show Off. We don't have a ton of pump stuff, but we've got Draw and Selection. So I think we're going to keep this. Alright, opponent kept on 6. I think we are going to start off by fetching here, thin our deck a little bit. We have a lot of lands in hand, and I don't want to get got by a Wasteland. So we'll play Scalding Tarn, grab a Mountain, play a Dragon Rage Channeler, and play a Mishra's Bauble. I think we want to keep the Lightning Bolt, and then we will ship the turn, crack our Bauble in their upkeep to see what they're drawing. A Forest, okay. Played the Forest, okay. And a Green Sun for 0 to grab a Dryad Arbor. So we can shoot this Lightning Bolt at the Dryad Arbor. Or we can see if they want to trade it off. We're drawing the Bolt. Then we're drawing an Unknown. A Arid Mesa. So I think we are going to... We'll give them the option to be able to trade this off. Ooh, they are trading it off. Okay, that's fine. I'm actually pretty okay with that. We will crack the Scalding Tarn, go grab another Mountain, and we will plot the Slick Shot Show Off and ship the turn. Verdant Catacombs from the opponent and a pass. Okay. I love its Cori-Steel Cutter. Or we just get another Slick Shot Show Off. We will play Wooded Foothills. We will cast this Slick Shot Show Off for free. We will just play this one. And this gives us the option to bolt if we want to, but I think we're just going to get in for 2 right now. I'd rather direct this bolt at a key creature or like a Grist or something. And we can go grab our Commercial District off of this Wooded Foothills. Buy from the opponent. Okay. And an Abrupt Decay on one of the Slick Shots. Okay, that's fine. Elvish Reclaimer. And a Gaia's Cradle. And a Fiend Artisan. Okay. So we've got 2 things we kind of got to worry about here. The Fiend Artisan's whatever, as long as the Elvish Reclaimer isn't active. or isn't on the battlefield because they need a creature to be able to sacrifice to this. We'll crack our Wooded Foothills, grab a commercial district, see what we draw. Okay, I like Cori-Steel Cutter. We will absolutely keep that. And we will play the Cori-Steel Cutter, get a trigger off the Slick Shot Show Off, play a Arid Mesa. So the problem is if we bolt the Reclaimer, it grows the Fiend Artisan, but they can start doing kind of crazy stuff with Elvish Reclaimer. Which one of these is a bigger threat? The Fiend Artisan is just a creature, so I think we're going to kill the Elvish Reclaimer here, and we just won't get in with the Monk token. Alright, we'll just whack in for 5 in the air for right now. We are starting to run out of gas. Alright, getting in for 5. Like I said, this is just a body at the moment if there's no other creatures on the battlefield, so we don't have to worry about its tutor ability yet. A second Fiend Artisan, okay. And a Wasteland. I don't super care about that at the moment. 3 mana for a Green Sun Zenith for 2. For a White of the Reliquary, okay. Not bothering to attack. We will fetch. Just thin out our deck a little bit to increase our chances of hitting something relevant. We hit a Lightning Bolt. So I don't have 2 cards to cast this turn. So I think we're just going to get in. Hit with the Slick Shot Show Off. Little Love Tap for 1 here. Pass the turn. We'll see how much they want to hold back here versus trying to be proactive. I do feel like this is slipping away very quickly. Alright, they are Fiend Artisan away something. Getting rid of the other Fiend Artisan to go get a 4-drop. A Ice-Till Explorer. Okay, so they can play lands from their graveyard and they can make an additional land drop each turn. Okay. I'm mostly okay with this. My concern is them getting a Talongates off of this White of the Reliquary. Alright, we'll take a hit for 5. Like, yeah, that's more of what I'm concerned about, is them whiting away a creature to go grab Talongates to stop this. Milled a Verdant Catacombs. Replayed their Wasteland from the graveyard. Played a Dryad Arbor. Alright. Wastelanding one of our Taigas. That's fine for right now. Mishra's Bauble. Okay. Well, we can play this. They have 1 card in hand. So I think what I want to do is... so it gives us a Monk post-combat, but I think what I want to do is try to swing in, have them block with this White, and then bolt it. Alright, we're going to get in. See what they do here. See if they want to block. Okay, they are blocking. Oh, they're double blocking. Okay. So if I bolt the White, they have to do it now. So I am going to go ahead and bolt the White. And we're not going to bother moving it over. Or does this actually matter? Yeah, we'll move it over. It actually doesn't matter because the prowess gets it back up to 3 anyways. And they would have to use the White to go grab Talongates before damage is done to save their White. Which looks like that might be what they're doing. Are they going to phase out the Monk or phase out their White? Oh, they're going to phase out the Slick Shot Show Off. Okay, well, that means the White dies. And then we'll pass the turn, and we will crack our Bauble to see what they're drawing. They're drawing a Barrogoyf. That is very not good for us. Replaying the Dryad Arbor from the graveyard. Milled a Noble Hierarch. Plays the Barrogoyf. Replays the Wasteland. And they got something else here. Is this a Green Sun? Fiend Artisan. If they grab an Endurance, yeah, I'm just dead. They got us here. We'll see what we draw, but we can't get through this now. Firebrain Scheme and a Land Grant. So let's play the Firebrain Scheme. I don't think it's going to matter, but we will give it a shot here. See if this can give us something. Dragon Rage Channeler and a Monastery Swift Spirit. Yeah, they got us on this one. This seems like a super, super rough matchup. But alright, on to the next one. Alright, won the die roll. Getting lucky with these die rolls today. I think we'll go ahead and keep this. We've got quite a few redraws, and we've got a Slick Shot Show Off to work our way up to. So I think we're going to start off with a Bloodstained Mire, plan on grabbing our Commercial District to set up our next draw. And if that doesn't reveal a land, then I think we will just Firebrain Scheme and hope that we find one. Cloud Post. Okay. So is this the blue post deck? Is this just a traditional cloud post deck? We just need to be aggro as hell against them, which unfortunately this hand doesn't super do. We do not want to scale up. Throw that in the graveyard. We hit a Lava Dart, so we've got a Firebrain Scheme and hope that we see a land in these two cards. Mutagenic Growth and another Firebrain Scheme. Well, I guess we're taking the Scheme, play a Bobble, and then we'll yield through the turn. Yeah, this is the risk of keeping one-landers with this deck. We will crack this after they play cards, so we get the most possible information. Planar Nexus, so they've got 3 mana available right now. Alright, Thundertrap Trainer, so this is the blue version. So we do have to worry about some amount of counter magic. Ew, a Chalice of the Void? That's gross. And they're playing the Chalice on 0. I mean, it is what it is sort of thing here, but it'd be much worse if they played that on 1. And then we will crack the Bobble. A Kozilek's Command. That is also problematic. We hit a Cori-Steel Cutter and a Dragon Rage Channeler. I know this is going to look like an early concession, but we needed lands and we didn't get them. I don't want to show them more information from our deck. So we're just going to move to game 2. Against what our opponent's doing, Abrade's in, Price of Progress in. We want to be explosive. Lava Darts aren't going to do a ton here, so we're going to trim some of those. And I think we're actually going to trim some of these Firebrain Schemes. I honestly haven't been being too thrilled with them. So, I know they're the new card that we're testing out, but I'm just going to get rid of them for this. We can adjust for game 3 if we need to, but we'll try this. Alright, let's get a better start this time. Alright, we have multiple lands. We can keep this. Okay. Alright, opponent kept on 7 as well. We start out with a Taiga. Play a Dragon Rage Channeler. We are giving up all of the information, but we are going to keep the Taiga in the deck for now. We just want to be able to hit our land drops. I really don't want to mill one of them. Ancient Tomb. Okay. Not being followed up with a Chalice. Okay. We had a Slick Shot Show Off. We'll play a Taiga. We will play a Cori-Steel Cutter. Ooh, a Force of Will on the Cori-Steel Cutter. Okay. We'll get a Surveil in. We will keep the Mishra's Bobble on top. We could Land Grant here, but we're going to wait. Because I would like the Bobble, and then we can Slick Shot Show Off, Land Grant, Bobble, and Bolt our opponent all next turn. Double Ancient Tomb Star. Okay. The One Ring. Alright. Well, we will just delay that by a turn then. So, we get the Mishra's Bobble. We will just play a Slick Shot Show Off. And then we will pass a turn. And then next turn we can do what we said we were going to do, but have 2 Slick Shot Show Offs while we do it. However, they do have an active One Ring, but their mana base is very painful to them. So that helps us greatly. Between the One Ring and their mana base hurting them, we might be able to just limp this over the finish line here. A Glimmer Post to gain 1. They have 5 mana available. Chalice on 1. Okay, I mean, that stops our Bolt from doing damage, but we mostly want it for the Prowess triggers anyways. We actually had an Abrade, so there's a world where we can actually blow this up before we try to do everything. I think we are going to play the Slick Shot Show Off, play a Mishra's Bobble, get our triggers. We will bin the Lightning Bolt. I believe this is going to turn on Delirium, because we'll do this. They're drawing an Ancient Tomb. We will cast a Land Grant. They could Kozilek's Command away the Dragon Rage Channeler. Alright, opponent scoops it up, because we could just go grab our land, cast a Lightning Bolt, and that's enough damage. So we basically just need to do the same thing over again. It's just a matter of, do we want to change anything? I don't think we do. I think we just want to run it back and get another super aggro start like that. Okay, I don't hate this. It's a little weak to a Chalice on 1, but we're going to give it a shot here. Cloud Post tapped. Okay, I like that. That is not a Chalice on 1, so we can get our Dragon Rage Channeler down. Play a Taiga. Play Dragon Rage Channeler. Play a Mishra's Bobble. Do I want the Cori-Steel Cutter? I do like it. We're going to put that on top of the library for right now. We do need to hit another land, so we might go ahead and... I want to hold on to this other Bobble. So I think we're just going to pass a turn, crack the Mishra's Bobble in their upkeep. Alright, they're drawing a Glimmer Post, so they can have 3 mana. We know we're drawing a... whatchamacallit. Cori-Steel Cutter. They do play the Glimmer Post. So they've got 3 mana, and it looks like they're just passing. So we know we're drawing this. I would love a land or a land grant here. A mutagenic growth. I guess we are playing the Bauble to start. That is a land, so we want to keep that on top. Then we will play the Firebrain scheme. We will keep the land on top, because that's what we want. We will grab the Arid Mesa. We will play the Arid Mesa. We will crack the Arid Mesa. We'll just go ahead and grab another Taiga. And then we're just going to go for maximum damage here. A Slickshot Show-Off. We'll put that in the graveyard. That's the 4th card type. If they have a Kozilek's Command, that kind of sucks, but we're going to try to swack them for 8 here. And that was a good amount of damage. We have a Bauble for another redraw. We can Cori-Steel Cutter and Mutagenic Growth next turn. Another Glimmer Post to get back some of that life. Okay. They have 5 mana, a 1 ring. Well, we'll do this before they can do anything. Force of Negation in hand. Okay. I apologize for my dog losing her mind in the background. We got some street work going on outside of our house here. So I'm assuming the Cori-Steel Cutter is probably going to end up getting countered. We hit another Mutagenic Growth off of the Bauble draw. We hit a land. We will play the land. And I think we're just going to start off by plotting our Slickshot Show-Off. And then just try to go for a crazy turn next turn if possible. Opponent lost some life to the One Ring. Drawing with the One Ring. They're at 5 mana currently. Another Cloud Post adds 1 mana, so this is 6 mana. A Karn the Great Creator. Okay. Searching for an artifact. So if they grab Liquid Metal Coating and shut down one of our lands, we don't have all the mana to play everything unless we draw another land. Tormod's Crypt. Okay, so they want to shrink the Dragon Rage Channeler. I'm actually kind of okay with that. Of all the things they could be doing, that's probably the least scary. Draw a card for turn. We hit a Bauble. Okay. So we are going to lead off with the Cori-Steel Cutter, which I'm assuming is going to get Force of Negation. Yes, Force of Negation, pitching Sink into Stupor. Okay. We get a Surveil. Lands are relevant at this point. It's basically we win or we lose here. Cast my Slickshot Show-Off. Oh, that is gross. Okay. Alright. Well, that's a little disappointing, but we're going to go ahead and do this. Land grant that we don't need. I think we're just dead here, but we're going to find out. Because they can shrink this in combat once they see what's going on here. So, begin combat. Attack you. Mutagenic Growth. I think this is like 1 damage short. I don't think we need the Bauble. Mutagenic Growth. I don't think we need the Cori-Steel Cutter right now. There are a lot of ways that this goes wrong. Move to blocks. They are Tormod's Crypting now. So I'm going to do this while this still has a power of 7. And we will put that on top and hope that they don't have a removal spell. Hit you for 14, you die to the One Ring? Oh, no. God damn it. They're alive at 1. Well, I guess we'll see what happens here. They have to find an answer to the One Ring, or they are going to die to it. Like, they could go grab Mycosynthlatus, lock me out, but then they die to their One Ring. They have to find another the One Ring. So they could tutor for the One Ring if they have one in their sideboard. This is super close. 6 mana, 7 mana. Okay, that's actually fine. As long as they can't shut down all of our lands, we should be able to just win as long as they don't have a force effect. 4 mana. Another the One Ring. Okay. So we're going to have to try to do this in their upkeep and hope that they didn't find a force. Alright, it really just comes down to, did they find another force somewhere in all of this mess here? And it's got to be a Force of Will, because Force of Negation isn't free on their turn. Yep, kill my Bauble, that's fine. Well, we draw our Price of Progress, then we pass the turn and pop this on their upkeep and hope for the best, basically. Alright, do you have an answer? They have access to 6 cards. Did they find another Force of Will? Drawing with the One Ring. Cycling a Lorien Revealed, okay. Holy shit, and we got there. Taking down Blue Tron with a Hail Mary price of progress. I like it. On to the next one. Up against Root Slay in round 4. Finally lost the die roll. I want to say they are traditionally a Turbo Reanimator player, so I need an aggro start. Okay, this counts as aggro, so we'll keep this. Bin the commercial district? Alright. Root Slay is mulliganing deep. Already down to 5. So hopefully they have a little bit slower of a start and I can take advantage of that. Problem is we're like stone cold dead to a fast Reanimator start in game 1. Especially on the draw. Alright, kept on 5. Let's see if we get turn 1. Blue to Delta. Alright, looks like we are not getting turn 1 yet. A Lightning Bolt. Well, we will play a Monastery, so a Spear. And get in. If they just like entomb, end step, upkeep, or their turn reanimate, we're kind of just dead, but it is what it is. We'll see what happens here. Underground Mortuary. Okay, so they're getting a Surveil in. Hopefully they don't just like randomly bin a fatty. Dark Ritual. Okay. Ooh, okay. Opponent kept a 1-lander. I like that quite a bit. That gives us a shot here. We hit another Lightning Bolt. So we are going to go ahead, crack the Scalding Tarn, go grab a Taiga, play Cori-Steel Cutter, get a Prowess Trigger, and then give up the goods to get some more damage in and see that they're probably dead next turn if they can't do anything. Go grab a Taiga, schwack in for 5, and they see that we can Swift Spear, Bolt next turn. So they've got to piece it together right here. Okay, they scooped it up. We got game 1 against Reanimator, which feels fantastic. So sideboard-wise, Fairy Macabres in. I don't really think we want anything else here. We can take the Lava Darts out. They could juke into a Witherbloom Apprentice combo, which Lava Dart still isn't going to kill that anyway, so we have to rely on our Lightning Bolts. And then I think we're going to trim 1 Scale Up and 1 Berserk since we're on the draw to bring in our Fairy Macabres for Graveyard Hate. So let's try that. No creatures, no protection. We gotta ship this one. So we've got a creature, some card draw. I think because we got so much selection and so many redraws, we're gonna go ahead and keep this, bin one of the Taigas, and hope that they can't just turn 1 us. They're mulliganing deep again, which is good for us. And for the sake of trying to find what we need, we are going to surveil very aggressively and run these baubles out instead of trying to hold on to them. Alright, polluted delta on pass from the opponent, so it looks like a repeat of last game at least. But we have a Cori-Steel Cutter, so maybe I don't actually want to do that. We will play Dragon Rage Channeler, and then I think we're going to play the Mishra's Bauble here. We do not need another Firebrain Scheme. We can put that into the graveyard. And I hate to do this. Well, we're going to see if they want to crack their fetch first. We will go ahead and bauble you just in case we can hit. Okay, Cabal Therapy. Just in case we get a Fairy Macabre off of this draw. Okay, they're shuffling that away. That's good. I don't really want them to have a Cabal Therapy. Into a Raucous Theater. Kept whatever it was on top. Okay. We get a draw off of the bauble. We hit an Arid Mesa. That's not exactly what we're looking for here. But does get a land into the graveyard. Swamp. Stronghold Gambit. Okay, well, unfortunately, I don't have a creature. Owner of each creature. Can I put this into play? No. Alright, I don't think we're winning through an Atraxa, unfortunately. We will see some more of their deck. Okay, so they do have the Chain of Smog combo in. Alright, we will go to the next one. So we know Stronghold Gambit is a juke, so we probably want to hold a creature in hand. So we'll just run it back and see if we can overrun them. Alright, I did make one change. I took out one more Berserk, brought in a Pyroblast to try to deal with the resolved Atraxa. So that is one change we are making. I could try to bring them all in, but they're probably only going to have one Atraxa. So I feel like having multiples might be a little redundant, and they're dead cards for the majority of the matchup, but we will bring one in just to try to deal with an Atraxa. Alright, I actually decided to bring the rest of the Pyroblasts in. Take out 2 Firebrain Schemes. Got in just under the wire on that one. We have a Slickshot Show Off, a Cori-Steel Cutter. No protection at the moment, but I think we're going to go ahead and keep this. I hope our opponent doesn't just have, like, a turn 1 or something. Alright, opponent kept on 7, unfortunately. We are going to play a Taiga, and we are going to go ahead and just play out the Bauble now. And we are going to crack it just in case we can hit a Fairy Macabre. Okay, opponent has a Dark Ritual. Another Mutagenic Growth. Underground Mortuary, okay. I want to hold this Slick Shot Show Off in hand just because of the fact that, like, if they Stronghold Gambit, we can put this into play. Alright, kept whatever it was on top. That's fine. I would really like a Bauble so that I can get a creature off this Cori-Steel Cutter. We hit an Arid Mesa. Well, we'll play a Taiga, and we will run out a Cori-Steel Cutter. Unfortunately, nothing we can do here, but we can do a absolute shit ton of damage next turn if we get there. Polluted Delta. Cracking the Delta. Gets a Badlands. Are we seeing a Stronghold Gambit? I am very worried about Dark Ritual, Thoughtseize, and then the Gambit. Alright, we got red mana in the pool now. Collective Brutality. Okay, pitching an Archon. So they can take our scale up, but we're still going to be able to do a ton of damage. Hopefully they don't have, like, Petal Reanimates. Because I'm assuming they're going to take the scale up. Yep, took the scale up because it's the most damage. Okay. We can still do a metric fuckload of damage here, especially if we draw another 1-drop we can actually cast. Okay, or we just have a Fairy Macabre. I like that quite a bit. We will cast the Slick Shot Show Off. We will pump the Slick Shot Show Off. Get our dude. Slick Shot Show Off gets a ton of damage. We can do another 4. That gets it up to 9, 12. Drop them to 1. Okay. No blocks. We will pump this again. Just get as much damage in as we can here. Hit them for 12. They're at 9. We can go grab a Surveil Land, and we have a Fairy Macabre to shut down a Reanimate. The worst case scenario here is they have Chain of Smog and Witherbloom Apprentice, and they can just ritual out that combo. But we've got the graveyard pretty well covered at this point, I think. But if they're tapping this for black mana, they don't have that combo unless they have another green land. Stronghold Gambit. Each player chooses a card. Each player reveals their chosen card. The owner of each creature card revealed this way may put the lowest mana value, or with the lowest mana value, puts it on. Okay. So we put in Fairy Macabre. So they had an Archon to try to get, and then we really need any kind of pump or any kind of non-creature spell here. We will go grab our commercial districts. Show me any non-creature spell. Dragon Ray Channeler does not do it. There's Monastery Swiftspear. We're going to hold on to that just in case they have another Stronghold Gambit. And this gets them below enough that they can't reanimate. And then, yeah, we just hold on to the Monastery Swiftspear in hopes that if they have another Stronghold Gambit, we put that into play. It would have to be Animate Dead. Holy shit, and we got there. They didn't have it. I like it. Taking down combo Reanimator. Positive record is locked. On to the final round. Alright, final round. Lost the die roll. No lands. Gotta ship it. Yeah, we can keep this. I think we'll put back one of the Bloodstained Mires. This is a lot of damage with a Monastery Swiftspear very quickly. Underground Sea. Okay. And we hit a Bauble, so we're going to go ahead, play Swiftspear, play the Bauble, get a little bit of damage in right now. Fatal push. Okay. Because Bowmasters is a thing, I'm going to do this now. Abrupt Decay. So Sultai something. My creatures are not safe. Hit another land, which is a little unfortunate. Polluted Delta. Cracks it. Into a tropical island. Okay, so it's Sultai Beans. Got it. So I need another hasty threat of some sort, or I need a recursive threat. A land grant is not it. Alright, island for the opponent. Passing the turn. If we get Oppo Agent here, I'm gonna be pissed. Crack the Bloodstained Mire. Alright, did not get Oppo Agent. Grab a commercial district. See if we can find something. We're gonna go ahead and keep that, just to try to find some creatures. Play a Wooded Foothills, play Firebrain Scheme, a Slick Shot Show Off, and a Lightning Bolt. Well, we will grab the Slick Shot Show Off. I'm assuming that's just going to die to this Abrupt Decay unless we find another creature. Or for some reason they tap out. Okay, Orcish Bowmasters is whatever. I don't really draw cards. They're probably just going to hold up their mana, unfortunately. Life from the Loam, okay. So yeah, they're just going to hold up this Abrupt Decay. So I need to find another creature. And we are going to go ahead and fetch here. Let's just grab a Taiga. We're already playing into Wasteland. It doesn't really matter. A Cori-Steel Cutter. Okay, well, that's at least recursive damage. So we'll play Cori-Steel Cutter. We will cast Land Grant to get a Monk. Grab another land. Play the land. Play the Slick Shot Show Off. And then we have 2 creatures, which is nice. And actually, like, 3 things they'd realistically want to point this Abrupt Decay at. Getting a crack. Ooh, grabbing black. So they can't play the Abrupt Decay. They have another removal spell, or did they just grab the wrong land? A Sheoldred's Edict. Sacrifice a non-token creature. Okay. Well, that's 2 answers then, but they're going to take 2 for now. They can Abrupt Decay the Cori-Steel Cutter. But I've still got a Monk and a bunch of ways to pump it. Yep, Abrupt Decay the Steel Cutter. And another Orcish Bowmaster to finish off the token. Alright. They are tapped out, so if we can hit another threat, we can kind of go crazy. Assuming their last card isn't a counterspell. Alright, and a land. Alright, so... Mishra's Bauble is terrible, so we gotta pass the turn until we can find a threat and then just try to go crazy with it. Which is a little disappointing. Another Up the Beanstalk, okay. Little redraw. A Wasteland, okay. They've got a Life from the Loam in the graveyard. Take a hit for 4 here. We hit a Monastery Swiftspear. Is this enough to kill them is the question. Mishra's Bauble, they appear to be F6. I haven't done the math yet to see if this is enough. I think it is. Swing in, no blocks. If they've got a removal spell, so be it. I mean, if you got a removal spell, I'm dead. Holy shit, we squeaked that one out. Oh my god. Oh, hasty threats for the win. Holy shit. Okay. Up against this shit. Legolas's Quick Reflexes for sure. I feel like Price of Progress isn't bad here. And then possibly Pyroblasts. If we take stuff out, I think we're taking out the Firebrain schemes. And then trim some of our explosive stuff. Like, trim both of the scale-ups and one of the Berserks. And try something like this. Alright, well, I mean, this kind of gives away what we're doing super easy, but we're going to keep it. If they force our land grant, we're kind of fucked. But island from the opponent into a Tamiyo. Luckily, despite the fact that this deck has a lot of, like, low-power creatures, another land grant. Okay, so if they get rid of the first one... Oh, it's just resolving. Okay, they're F6. Play a Taiga. We're going to start out with the Dragon Rage Channeler. Play a Mishra's Bauble. Do I want another Bauble? Yeah, we'll keep that on top. And then again, because Orcish Bowmasters is a thing, we're just going to go ahead and do this. They're drawing a land for turn. And we will draw that Bauble. Plays the Misty Rainforest. Cracks the Misty Rainforest. Grabs a Tropical Island. Okay. Into an Up the Beanstalk. Okay. And are they going to bake a clue off the Tamiyo, or are they going to hold it back? Ooh, holding back the Tamiyo. That is aggressive. Alright. Well, we will cast the other land grant. You can see my hand again. A Cori-Steel Cutter. We will keep that in the deck. And then grab another Taiga. Play the Taiga. We're just going to flood the board here. An opponent seems to be F6. Play another Urza's Bauble. Get our triggers. We'll keep that on top, actually. Try to go explosive as hell next turn. And then we will get in. And then, again, I'm going to do this because Orcish Bowmasters is a thing. There is a Brainstorm in hand. So they can flip this Tamiyo if they want to. So they know all but one card in our hand currently. So they know about these 3. Another land would be nice. We can get a instant into the graveyard at will. So that part's nice. Playing a Polluted Delta. Cracking the Polluted Delta. Grab an Underground Sea. Orcish Bowmasters targeting what? We are going to go ahead and Mutagenic Growth that to save it. I don't think we need another Mishra's Bauble right now. We're actively looking for lands. That is a land. We'll keep that on top. Alright, and they can Brainstorm at will, so they can block and then Brainstorm if they want to. Well, we hit a land. We will go grab our basic. That turns on the Dragon Rage channelers. And then we are going to cast a Slick Shot Show Off. And then we are going to go ahead and proactively Legolas's Quick Reflexes on the Slick Shot Show Off. Land Grant, we can throw in the graveyard. We don't really want that at the moment. Another Mishra's Bauble, we do not need that at the moment. Get that in there. And then we will go ahead and Mutagenic Growth the Slick Shot Show Off now. I like just like a Lightning Bolt or something. Another Slick Shot Show Off. We can put that in the graveyard. Like, if we don't kill okay, Lightning Bolt, I like that. We can keep that. I was gonna say, if they have some way to survive this and then follow up with a sweeper, we're kind of just like royally fucked here. But luckily, the Slick Shot Show Off has Hexproof. Attack with all creatures. Kill the Tamiyo so that they either have to flip it or lose it, and either way, it gets it out of the way. Okay, that's fine. Because that prevents it from being able to block. And then this is 13 damage for sure going through. And then, yeah, just the Lightning Bolt next turn should be able to kill them. As long as they don't have a sweeper and a counter spell, I think we got this. Alright, resolve their Brainstorm, 3 cards in hand, Tamiyo flips, and then they gotta block the Swift Spear, blocking it with the Bowmaster, not blocking it with the Bowmaster, okay, blocking it with the Orc Army, and if they have a Snuff Out, it's actually dealing 1 more damage than either of these Dragon Rage Channelers would. Alright, damage goes through, they are at 2, and like I said, they need a Sweeper plus a counter spell to be able to get back into this game. Upticking Tamiyo, that's fine. All of these are still lethal on their own. Wasteland, I don't care about that. Yep, blow up a Taiga, that's fine. And a Murktide Regent. Okay. I still don't think that matters. And opponent scoops it up. We got a 4-1 with Gruul Cutter. Holy shit. This went a lot better than I thought it would, but we'll address it on the wrap-up. That was an absolute blast. I know I kind of joked that this is essentially Infect without Infect, and it honestly plays very, very similarly. We saw you need to have a threat, and then you're just relying on pumping as much as you can. When I was testing the deck, it felt very swingy, but it was surprisingly consistent when I actually took it through the league. I will say, even with the amount of pseudo card draw you have in this deck and the selection with Dragon Rage Channeler and Firebrain Scheme, it did feel kind of hard to rebuild and get back to a critical mass of spells after you kind of blew it all on your first attempt. But we did see it was able to grind back into it if we just bided our time and looked for our hole to be able to get in. Like, we saw that one game where we lost our entire first wave of creatures, and then we just sat there collecting spells until we found a new haste threat, got it in after our opponent was tapped out, and were able to just pump it to lethal right then and there and kill them after what looked like they completely stabilized and had the game in control. So despite the fact that the deck looks like a glass cannon aggro style deck, it actually has some surprising resiliency. That said, even with all of that, it still just felt like I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. It still felt very much like I'm completely out of the game, then all of a sudden I'm back in it. So if you want to play this deck, be prepared for it to be a roller coaster. If your opponent has any way at all to interact with you. Overall, it felt really, really good if our opponent isn't overloaded with removal spells. So up against some of the more tempo style decks, up against the go big or combo decks that aren't really interacting with our board until later or at all, it felt great. But like we saw against Cradle Control, up against any kind of mid-range style deck that's going to be overloaded with removal, you're going to have a really rough time, just like traditional Infect does. We don't have that many actual threats in the deck. So if they can deal with your first one or two, you're kind of just sitting there until you can find another one. That being said, because almost all of our creatures have haste, we can still one-shot our opponent even after they deal with our first set of creatures if we bide our time. So just be prepared for a roller coaster and being on the edge of your seat the whole time you're playing this deck if you want to. I honestly would recommend this deck. It was fun. It showed it could hang with a lot of the top decks of the meta. and it's an interesting way to attack it and go hyper aggro in a meta that is dominated by tempo and combo. So honestly, even in a larger tournament, like I feel like this deck could do well if you get some good pairings. So I'm gonna give this one a thumbs up. I'm gonna say green is a legitimate color to be able to pair with Cori-Steel Cutter, and at this point, I mean, we've seen black, green, and blue all pair with Cori-Steel Cutter. Last one I got to try out at this point is white, and I think I'm willing to say that the Steel Cutter's kind of a busted card. And regardless of what color you go with, if you build around it, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be able to hang with the meta. But anyways, that's all for today. That is Gruul Cutter in Legacy in the new meta post bans. I hope you all had as much fun watching as I did playing. I will catch you all in the next video. And as always, stay salty. Play any of the decks you see on this channel with a Mana Traders rental subscription. With a variety of tiers to fit any budget, Mana Traders lets you play whatever you want in whatever format you want. Use code DasSourKraut at checkout and become a better player today. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you like what you saw. If you did, do me a favor, hit that like and sub button below. There are free ways to support the channel. And drop a comment, let me know what you like. Any kind of feedback you got, your opinions on my gameplay, the decks that I play, any of that kind of stuff. If you really like what you see, go ahead and drop by the Patreon. Become a patron, get to read some of my tournament reports and some stuff going on outside of just Magic in my life that I'm going to start putting over there as kind of my own personal blog. Also, you can do donation deck lists over there, just the price of a league if you have a specific deck you want to see, or you have an idea you want me to brew around, something like that, go ahead and do that. Nothing is required. It's always appreciated, though. Any donations go directly back into the channel, covering stuff such as leagues for donation decks or the rental program that I'm a part of. I am a small-time YouTuber. I'm doing this for fun. I really hope you all like what you saw. I truly appreciate you all stopping by. I will catch you all in the next video, and as always, stay salty.